And joining us now, who better than the Professor of Marketing and International Business and a political commentator, Oriini, L.A. Henry, and former National Party candidate at the previous election in 2023 for Tāmaki Makaurau, Hinurewa Te Hau. E oku mare kura tēnā kōrua. Welcome. Thank you both very much for your time. Wow, two, I think, really interesting candidates for the Tāmaki Makaurau by-election. Oriini, thoughts?
We of Tāmaki Makaurau are fortunate because we have candidates of such stature and such experience. It's actually going to be, as every election is, really interesting to watch, but I'm hoping to see a very high turnout to show that we care about their calibre.
Do you think that'll happen, high turnout?
Look, the buzz on the ground, and I'm not that on the ground, but around a university there's a lot of young people, there's a mixed population. There's an air of interest which I think often by elections don't have. They're like a ho-hum. But this one, I think, is particularly because of the loss of Tarsh. I think there's a lot of people who are going to be watching closely and participating.
Oriini kaipara brings something different. So that's why I think it's going to be an interesting race, just because Peeni lost the seat. He'll be wanting revenge. He'll want to come back into Parliament as a Tāmaki Makaurau MP. And Oriini, who really, I think, is going to fight.
Yeah, I think she will fight for it, and it's good to see a woman, you know, who's going to represent Māori Party and who will step into that fold, you know, because Tarsh has left a big gap there, and so yeah, you know, you can see there's as Ella said earlier, she's tenacious, you know, which is a very good word, and so yeah, I suppose she's ready for it.
The electorate itself, where are the biggest polling places? Oriini's got very much a history in West Auckland. Peeni's been there before. Where do they need a fight? Where is the battle on the ground, Henu?
The battle on the ground is definitely within the definitely within the South Auckland area. Large proportion of Māori in there. You've got to go beat on the doors there, definitely, and West Auckland as well. So where Oriini is with Hone Waititi Marae, Waiparera Trust, for example, we've got a good percentage of Māori in that area, and also too they border onto Tai Tukarau, so you know they'll be looking with interest, those who may have swapped from Te Tai Tukarau onto the Tāmaki Makaurau role as well, but South Auckland's where the biggest area is, most definitely.
What are the big issues, Ahorangi, for you and Tāmaki Makaurau?
We know that there's been a lot of interest in some of the new legislation that's been forced through under haste, and that's really brought Māori to the fore in terms of political activation. But the reality, I think, for many of our people is still, it's around affordability of homes, it's around the cost of living, it's around holding on to their jobs at a time when unemployment is rising, when, you know, the economy is flagging, despite the idea that somehow we have a robust economy when there's so many more people on in dole queues. I think our people are going to be looking at who's coming with solutions to the economy.
How important is the ground campaign in a by-election like this? And I know your experience.
It's really important, a ground campaign, because this is going to be a first past the post. You know, this is not an MMP style sort of campaigning. It's first past the post, so those two candidates have got to hit the ground running, and they really do, and they need to know, they need to get out and start door knocking, because there's those of us, I would go the 45 plus group, who still like to see someone knock on the door, and we are a kanohi ki te kanohi people, whether we think that or not. Yes, there is a young vote as well. You know, it'll be the first time 18 plus who'll be voting, and they may be more of a social media, you know, TikTok sort of, you know, because that's how they hear their information. But when you consider where our marae are, when you consider where our young people are, you know, we've got to get to those communities first before we, in my opinion, before you think TikTok.
Awarangi, the impetus, it feels like, is with Te Pāti Māori, right? You take the Hikoi and other activations that have happened since the last election. Yes, it was close, 40-something votes between Takutai Tarsh Kemp and Peeni Henare. And of course you had a Labour government who for many weren't bold enough, fast enough. Can they change that in this by-election, or is the impetus, in your view, still with Te Pāti Māori?
Clearly, Pāti Māori have a very high profile at the moment. They've been behind some very high-level, influential, well-regarded campaigns. The haka, the billions of memes of Hannah Tamaki, all of those things have definitely raised their profile. However, I think for a by-election, as you said, it's first past the post. It's whoever people have in their mind on the day. It's getting our people to the booths, and that's where I think having that infrastructure, which Labor traditionally has had, the volunteers to get the old people to the polling booth, or to make sure the phone rounds happen, or to come to the town hall meetings. I think that this is going to require Pāti Māori in Tāmaki Makaurau to utilise its infrastructure as well as it can to ensure participation.
Yeah, because they've got a high profile to Pāti Māori. They really have. So, it's a real opportunity for Peeni to say, hey, I'm here and I still want to stand. I still want to be your candidate, I want to represent you, but they've got to get their policies right. They've got to get their messages right to their community, because otherwise, even though Peeni might be out there in a lot of things, it doesn't necessarily mean that they know who he is. Where Māori Pāti, Tarsh, she left her footprint.
Do you not think that the line that the Māori Party pulled today, that, if you vote for Oriini, you get Oriini and Peeni, whereas if you vote for Peeni, you still get Peeni? What do you make of that? Because that's an interesting line, and it might resonate with an audience.
Yeah, it may resonate with an audience, but it's still first past the post. And if Peeni was successful, it means the next person on the list gets in. As we were talking earlier, there will be Georgina Danzi, and you go, there's whakapapa there, ne? With Oriini, yeah, maybe 2 + 1, but you get Oriini, ne? You don't get anybody else that I know of on the list. So, she's got a,
You still get the overhang, but you don't
still get
get
overhang when you don't need it,
There are not just 2 candidates. We should remind everyone there are actually 3 candidates who have declared they will be standing in the by-election. The third one, of course, is Hannah Tamaki. What do you make of that?
Well, I can see why. I mean, Auckland is their strongest membership base, and so they will get votes. They could well be a confounding variable, as we call it in research, by coming down the middle and taking...
And altering potentially which one could get it. Yeah.
Absolutely. We know from some of the activities they've been engaged in, they're growing in force and numbers. Whether that is a good or a bad thing is entirely dependent on your point of view, but they certainly bring people with them, and they bring people who will vote.
Yeah, look, they could split the vote, but I don't think they will split the vote. I still think it'll be very much a first past the post type of campaign. Good on them for wanting to put themselves forward again. Always commend our Māori who want to go forward for politics, but I'm going, this is a two-way race.
Okay. So in that regard, who's going to win?
Let me just put on my telly.
Hold on, we'll start with you.
I think there will be a sympathy vote for Pāti Māori. I think there will be a woman vote for Pāti Māori. And so by an inch, I'd say that they might hold the balance on the day. Having said that, if Labor is prepared to actually come out of the closet it's been hiding behind as a centre-left party and become more left, more working class, more for the poor, which is its origins historically, who knows?
Yeah. Oriini's a Māori woman. Women will vote if they see her. It's an opportunity for them to increase their vote, and I would say that they'll be wanting to increase their vote, not lose that vote. So they'll go out hard. And I'm with Ella on this one. Labor have got to come out with something pretty damn smart to ensure that they can gain back those votes.
Thank you both. We need to do this again, actually, before the by-election. Let's do it again, eh?
Okie dokie.
Okay, thank you both very much. Professor Henry, Hinurewa Te Hau. For more Hui content, subscribe to our YouTube channel.